Hi guys, my name is Miss Markland. I'll be talking you through one of your chemistry core practicals. This is SC14D, which is your acid alkali titration. First of all, we need to start off with our burette. Now this is actually called a burette. You have a tap at the bottom and it is held up by your clamp stand. On top, you'll see we have a funnel as well, which just needs to go in there to help us pour our solution in. Also, for this experiment, you'll need a glass pipette. Be very careful. A pipette filler, which all you need to do is roll the dial here and it will draw up solution. You need your sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. Now the indicator that we'll be using here is methyl orange. Now be very careful not to get this on your skin. Also conical flask and distilled water. Okay, so step one on your method is to place the funnel at the top, which already should have been done for you. Now we need to fill this with hydrochloric acid. Now before we do this, we need to rinse it out. That is because we don't want any contaminants inside the burette. So make sure your tap of your burette is across and then pour your dilute hydrochloric acid into the top. Now you need to fill this completely to the top. I'm not going to, but just so you know. We need to fill this to the top. Now to swill it out, all we do is get a beaker. You should have a spare beaker underneath. If not, take it to the sink and just release the tap straight so that it all falls down. By doing this, you've then done step two, which is to fill the bottom part with some hydrochloric acid as well, save it just being with air. So now we've filled up our burette with our dilute hydrochloric acid. You need to mark the starting value. So that would be, because the burette's read upside down, so 0 is at the top and 50 is at the bottom, that would be any number that it starts on. But we should originally be on 0. Now step 3, you need to use the pipette and fill up 25 centimetre cubed with sodium hydroxide. Now that should go directly into your conical flask. Now these parts of the pipette are very, very fragile. So when you are putting the pipette filler on top, be sure not to force it too hard because they could break. So you push it on, you put it inside of your sodium hydroxide, and then you draw up solution. Now, what you need to do, very similar to what we did with our burette, we need to rinse it out. So fill it up to 25, take it to the sink, and then swill it out. Okay, let it run down. So as I say, I'm not going to do it fully, but I'll draw it roughly 25 centimetre cubed. Make sure you get down to eye level, and then when it's done, you take it into your conical flask, you press down, and the solution should be ejected into it. When you are done, just tap the nib of the pipette onto the surface of the water to get that last little drop of sodium hydroxide out. Then guys, we need to put our methyl orange into it. So I think on your booklet it just says a few drops. What I'd probably recommend is about 3 to 4 drops. So just until it turns a nice orange. Then place this underneath your burette on top of the white tile so we can see a good colour. And there is your setup for the titration. Now, you need 2 hands to do this titration. One needs to be on the tap and the other needs to be on the conical flask. All you need to do is turn the tap so it faces downwards so that the acid can run into the conical flask. Okay, with the other, then you swill. Now, you'll see a colour change. The colour change, I've done one earlier, the colour change should turn to around about this colour. On your rough titration, when you do get to this, then you stop, you turn your dial across and stop any hydrochloric acid from going into your conical flask. From then, you write down your ending value. Once you've written down your starting value and your ending value, you can calculate how much hydrochloric acid you have used to turn that solution. That should be kept in a table, which you should have on page 59. And then we can calculate a rough estimate of how much a round it takes. Now, if it took 45 centimetre cube perhaps, then on our second titration, we then need to go to around 45. Then, after the last bit, you can turn the dial very slowly so that it's very much drop-wise, so you can be a lot more specific in your titer. Then, as soon as it turns, you stop, you record your end value, and then you continue until your values are 0.2 centimetre cubed away from each other. So if you have a 30, your second one is 30.02, and then you can stop. Good luck.